So what I've learned is if you have the right attitude, because attitude cannot be taught. You have the aptitude. This is the general ability to grasp things. And you have a drive. This is something pushing you. You can be from a needy family where you want to make it, or you can be from a privileged family where you want to prove something, that I can do something.
For example, Dubai.
Yeah, so when you have those three, a combination of those three, then you're able to get to do anything.
What are your markers today?
CTA with Ken, video 5.
You know, it's a difficult CTA for people to watch because this guy is not lying. He's not telling you what you want to hear when it comes to the leadership path. But it's also a beautiful CTA for you to watch because from hearing Ken's life story and his life being the proof, you can't argue with his life. He's teaching you the path to success. The path to success includes integrity, it includes hard work, it includes dependability, it includes going up and above and beyond, it includes sleepless nights, it includes so many different things that he's sharing. And success is guaranteed if you walk that path. But the question then, you throw it back to yourself, or I throw it back to you and ask you, are you willing then to walk the path now that you know what it takes to be successful? Let's talk about patience in your story. You know, I've heard you, what's making you work and you have not been confirmed? But what's making you still work and not ask? That's confused me a bit.
So my mindset always has been sort of different. So first, I sort of think and say, even today, I don't consider myself employed. I'm in a school of business where I'm learning how to read teams, how to grow a business, how to set up a business, how to manage stakeholders, how to get people to be the best versions of themselves. Because at my age, running an organization like this is very rare.
Let's talk about, for example, AUM. Is it AUM or how?
Yeah, it's 40 billion. So
you're managing 40 billion worth of investors' money.
Yes, assets under management, 40 billion. So I'm in school. I'm in school of life, business, practically. And the salary I get is pocket money. I'll do greater things in future based on the skill set I acquire now. And this has been the philosophy in life. If you remember in primary school, high school, I think primary more so, there was the migration across Africa. So if you, for instance, Bantu came from Central Africa in thousands of years ago, in BCE. Those guys left Central Africa. They came all the way. They came to Kenya, some settled in Tanzania, others as far as South Africa. Someone must have triggered them to get out of there and move. If you imagine, then it must have been forest. There were no roads, there was no Google Maps. They came. And that's how we are here. If you imagine about how the empires were grown, some guys in 1200, like Marco Polo, left Venice, went to China, he even became, I think, a representative there in 1200, 1270 something. If you left Italy, then went to Asia, China, through the sea, and there was no language, common language they would speak. What happened to Christopher Columbus? He left, discovered America and other places.
Alexander the Great.
Vasco da Gama came this way. Those guys just discovered and changed the world. Now, in 21st century, there's Google Map, there's everything. You can be anything. That's my philosophy. I can go anywhere and be anything I want. This program was something in your mind before it became this. Everything in this world is first an idea in someone's mind before it becomes a business. And you just actualize it. Facebook, Google, all those were ideas. Even this Centum RE I'm working for, it was an idea. To reverse was an idea in James, Dr. Kirubi's mind. And they have realized it. So that's why I'm saying the future is greater than where I've come from. And the same philosophy, I don't think anything would stop us.
Wow. You're young. Let me paint in context. Not now, at this time when you are doing this internship and now you've just got confirmed at Centum, you're young. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
You are not 30-something-year-old. You're still in your 20s.
Yes.
You would be what would be considered in today, 2025, a Gen Z.
Yes, I was 20, must have been 23 or
What?
24. 20, maybe 2012. That was 25.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's something. Then again, if you're catching us at this episode, please watch the other one first. There's so much you spoke in that episode. Like I was trying to hold on to this, but then you go to the next thing and I'm trying to hold on to this. For example, the filing system.
Yeah.
That on its own was an incredible role that you could have stopped at. You did that. You did it so well. In the mix of doing that, you then discovered, oh, I need to go and start mapping out the city. Visiting, okay, not mapping out the city, but visiting the different constructions that were happening so that when the engineers and the construction guys, and when everybody is giving their report, you can check them, fact check them.
Yeah.
But that wasn't your role. No one asked you to do this.
Yes, so if you want growth, you go to the most uncomfortable. That's what I learned. And remember James, if you read his story, he said he was an investment manager at 25. He was a CEO then. He sort of says the unclear path you can follow. You do what no one is prepared to do. So some of these things no one wants to do. That's the only place you can grow. So you do them. You do the things that people are not paying attention to. It's a shorter path to getting there than doing what everyone wants.
But you don't know how to do the things nobody else knows how to do.
Yes, like now research, you see we could have sat and listened to our research and pulled it off the desktop. My question was not to be asked about a project that I didn't know of. So I wanted to speak about practically what's on the ground. You say that there is a building in Westlands. Where is it? And what is the status? That I wanted to be the one who knows about it. And when you're there, people teach you about, I don't know, tiles, or they're doing the next thing. You just get free information on the ground.
But then you must have had some amazing interpersonal skills with people. Like, because you're going to, I like even the fact that you would know that buildings, they're saying their occupancy is 80%, but then to take it to the next level where you're hearing about, no, the occupancy is actually 5, you've already built a relationship with that person.
Yes.
Where trust has been exchanged for them now to be vulnerable with information.
Yes.
Where did you learn to do that? Especially somebody who from the outside appears very introverted.
So it's how you present yourself. Of course, at my age, everyone can say I can buy, but who you say you represent. So they are getting the prospect that these people may buy. I can get a sale. Because selling is first a connection, a conversation. Then someone buys as an outcome.
Okay. We can spend here forever, but let's move on, because that's a class in session that maybe he needs to come back for. Wink, wink. So the question now becomes, what happens now when you're confirmed?
So I'm confirmed. I get to a project, as a project assistant. So I have a bit of more responsibility, works.
And you move from 30,000?
Yeah, I moved to 30,000 to 100.
Okay.
But remember, people here are making bonuses, they are driving, they are checking SBT Japan. So I'm also getting ideas. They're speaking about investment. Actually,
nice.
Centum culture is one of success and one that you need to make a difference. So people are thinking about investments. The things they are talking of are also inspiring. I'm thinking of where to invest. So anyway, I get additional responsibility. I start now coordinating project work in Nairobi, research work, and Uganda.
Uganda?
Yes, but how that comes about is Zach is the one who travels to Uganda often. And now I don't know. He said you need to accompany me. But when I joined, Chris looked at me and said, Mbae, do you have a passport? Which of course I didn't have. But I said I'll get one. And within a week, I sort of pushed, got yellow fever. One day I was just told, let's go to Uganda. We're going in the afternoon. I went to Uganda. I started now understanding our project in Uganda, supporting Zach.
What's the project in Uganda called?
Pearl Marina.
Pearl Marina.
So we're doing land acquisition. We're doing master planning also. We're not at the point of beginning construction.
Whoa, you were doing land acquisition?
Yeah, so and looking for approval. So go to Uganda, Wakiso. That's further in outside of Entebbe.
Yeah.
To the local authorities there to understand the approval process.
So are you shadowing someone? Are you learning from somebody?
Yes.
Or so this is like a training for you, on-ground training.
Yes, that's correct. It was on-ground training. I was going with the project manager.
But you're starting from scratch. So let's take it back. I want to assume somebody has no idea what Centum is.
Yes.
Let's start it from that place for them to understand, because me and you may know Centum or a couple of people, but I always like thinking of somebody who doesn't know.
Yeah.
Explain Centum, explain where the real estate comes in, and then explain now why you're in Uganda.
So Centum is an investment company, actually one of the largest, listed in Nairobi Securities Exchange and Uganda Securities Exchange. It's a big business, has 37,000 shareholders. Then it has several businesses. It has a private equity business that invests and owns various companies. It had now started the real estate business. So they had bought land in Vipingo, in Two Rivers, and in Uganda. And they brought where I was doing parking. And then there was a quoted private equity, which is the stocks, what Pius does, NABO, which
NABO
now
Capital.
became NABO.
Yes.
So that's the business. As we are in the real estate business, and we are starting these projects, doing the work, because the person who was doing the vision carrier is James. We are executing the vision.
And what was the vision, for example, for Pearl Marina?
So based on the economic growth and what the study center had done, is there was need for satellite towns. And because government was not doing infrastructure, people are looking for nice gated communities to live in. We thought we could do a lakefront city anchored by a marina, and now people from Kampala, Entebbe and environs could stay there. In Two Rivers, there's a catchment already. So we needed a big mall like Two Rivers to anchor that. Runda, Rosrin, Ruaka neighborhood. Even Ruaka was barely
there.
Yeah, it was just a few buildings. So that was the early days.
Wow. Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
So they were going to build and then sell the different real estate, buildings, the ones in Uganda, to people to live there, and of course make they make their ROI of that.
Yes. Would package a project and attract investors, and also bring customers, like build and sell. In Nairobi, they started with the mall as the anchor. Then we came to the residential bit. Yeah,
because the reason why I'm asking this, in Nairobi, they owned the mall for years.
Yes.
So Nairobi was a bit different. You're not going to, even as compared to Vipingo, they were not going to sell.
Yes.
They were going to manage this project, get tenants, rent, and make money off that, and then raise its value and then sell it.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
So for Uganda, it was different. So to understand the market, what can be done? You have the largest freshwater lake and a nice frontage. What can you do with it? So there were different thoughts. You do a marina, but who comes? How do you make money? How do you run a capital right model? Anyway, we ended up with doing residential.
Okay.
So through that process, I understood how to do business, because there were meetings every other time, that project update, planning meetings that we used to do regularly.
In Uganda?
In Kenya and in Uganda.
Okay.
And there, it's like a practical master's or PhD class where knowledge is being shared, board members, James, Kirubi. So there was a lot. You are just absorbing knowledge every day.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you are in proximity. The leadership style of Chris Kirubi and James Moria, is it hands-on where you get proximity with them quite often at that time?
It's frat, even now, it's very frat. I think the essence is core business first, then this other COMD later. So the interaction even now,
Yes.
I'm a chief sales officer. That's my core business.
Yes.
MD and other things I do later. Yes.
Okay, so now you get your hands really dirty in this in what's happening in Uganda, and simultaneously Two Rivers.
Yes.
What are you doing for Two Rivers at this time?
Two Rivers, I'm the assistant project manager. So how projects run, there is the consulting team. This is the architect, the engineers. The engineers are civil engineers, services electrical engineers, the QS.
Yes.
That entire team that is doing design, there is coordination that must happen between them. We used to work even with a third party project manager.
Yeah.
So you coordinate the program, what is being done this week, what are they doing next week, when are we going to tender, when are we going to begin construction,
Yeah.
when are we starting procurement. So you are the one who has that body of knowledge of what everyone is doing.
Wow. So let me ask you, does school help, or core ground things are different?
School helps to open up your mind and to help you think. Once you've been through school, you can be taught any skill. So what I've learned is if you have the right attitude, because attitude cannot be taught. You have the aptitude. This is the general ability to grasp things. And you have a drive. This is something pushing you. You can be from a needy family where you want to make it, or you can be from a privileged family where you want to prove something, that I can do something.
For example, Dubai.
Yeah, so when you have those three, a combination of those three, then you're able to get to do anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can do anything, yeah?
I think I can do anything fast, because I know when you start anything, the only known thing is you will fail. That's a known. If I start anything, even when you started this program, I think what you knew is you could fail.
Yeah.
That's known.
That's known.
So don't pay attention to that. That's known, you will fail. But if you do something, you can succeed. So if you do something and fail, the quantum of failure is not as bad as not doing. If you fail, that's a lesson. Then you don't repeat that. Then you will succeed. So I don't pay attention to the fail.
Yeah.
I think when you start something, you can get it done.
You know, that's so brilliant, first and foremost. The known fact, you know you're going to fail. That's the one thing you know.
That's one you know.
Okay, let me ask you. Centum is a very, very, very high, it takes a lot. I don't want to use high energy. It's not even high energy. High, in terms of work, what's the word? I don't have the English is not Englishing. High expectation.
Yes. It's high expectations because the ecosystem around it, from chairman, CK, to James, are high achievers. And they have done it. And they can see what can be done. So then the expectation to achieve it is high, and the intensity is there. But also the culture and the support system allows you, because very young people are being given very enormous responsibilities. Where the known is you'll fail, the unknown is the quantum of success. So we just focus on the unknown.
Yeah.
You pursue the unknown. Even if you fail, it's not as bad as not doing
what are
anything.
What's a failure or as you call it, a lesson that you learned along this path?
I mean,
okay, let's talk about the Two Rivers, for example, in this project management time.
So like Two Rivers, the initial expectation, the pace at which it would be finished. That's one. Even what you assume, like Vipingo was bought, but I'll come there. We thought we would start with the industrial. We went, started, it didn't work. We had to pivot to residential.
What?
We thought we would start there are many things.
Vipingo was supposed to be industrial?
Yes, a lot of it is meant to be industrial. Now that is when industry is coming up. So you'll start with an hypothesis, you test it, it may not work to how you thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happens when it doesn't work and you've got to go back and report this to those high expectation bosses in a high working environment. You see a lot of people, what happens in a situation like that? That's a fear that people have.
Because in that ability to allow you to fail, you become innovative. So you'll say, okay, what we thought was an hypothesis that there is demand for this, like industrial. We thought the industry would start. When you speak to industry owners, they ask you, where will my management stay? Where will my people stay? Then you don't have housing. Then they say, when you have housing, come back. Or they ask you, where is water? You don't have water. Then you came back and said, we need to do a water solution. We did desalination. So you'd go back and say, okay, this is what we found out, and this is what we are proposing to be a solution. And then it's now tailor-made. But you can't share that update and come back with it again.
I love what you're saying. So your failure was always accompanied by a different direction.
Yes.
It wasn't a failure that I'm stuck and stopped.
No.
But is there ever a time that you didn't have a solution after a failure?
Yeah, there are a number of times.
So what do you do in a situation like that?
You then have to think deeper. Like now, the projects at Two Rivers. So we've done some projects. We did the Vipingo projects, finished ahead of schedule, the first phase. We did Two Rivers, some we finished on schedule, but others were delayed, like Cascadia and Mzizi.
Yes.
Those have taken longer to finish. And there the capital requirement is so high. So it's not a solution that you can solve today. So you just say, okay, we need to take time, raise capital, and finish the project, and this may take additional time.
We're going to come to that.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that there's a failure within this story that we can then have a conversation with.
Yes.
And figure out then how do you have conversations with investors?
Yes.
Because that's a promise that hasn't been delivered.
Yes.
But at this time, let's go back to that time of 2012.
So that's maybe now in 2013.
2013, when now this building is happening, or when you've gone to Uganda, Pearl Marina has been built, and Two Rivers.
No, they're also not being built. It's planning.
Oh, it's planning. It's
a lot of planning work.